Hello and welcome back. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at the SizedBox widget. The SizedBox allows you to specify a custom width and height, and it will automatically size its child based on that width and height. Our homepage here contains a scaffold with a basic app bar, and in the body of the scaffold we're going to create a new container widget. We're going to make it red, and for the purposes of this demonstration we're going to give it a fixed width and height of 100 by 100. You'll notice when the app hot reloads the container appearing in the Android emulator. Now, the container widget can be wrapped inside a SizedBox widget. Now, by default, if the SizedBox does not specify a width and height, i.e. if these values are null, then the SizedBox will automatically size itself based on the width and height of the child widget. You'll notice in this case the container has a width of 100 and a height of 100, meaning when the app hot reloads you'll see nothing change because the SizedBox will be exactly the same size, with a width of 100 and a height of 100. If we were to specify a width of the SizedBox of 200, you'll notice the container grows to be 200 wide. Likewise, if we were to also make the height 200, you'll notice that the container grows to be 200 high. You could essentially, at this point, remove the width and height of the container, as the container widget will automatically fill its parent size. You'll notice, if you remove the width and height and take a look at the constructors for the SizedBox, you'll notice there are 3 named constructors: from size, expand and shrink. Now the first one we will take a look at is the shrink constructor. Now shrink, essentially, as the name suggests, will shrink the size of the SizedBox to be as small as the parent allows. Whereas the default constructor based the size of the SizedBox on the child widget, if the width and the height were null, the shrink and expand constructors base the width and height of the SizedBox on the parent rather than the child. If we give this a hot reload, you'll notice the container disappear from the application. That's because the scaffold body has a minimum width of 0 and a minimum height of 0, meaning the SizedBox will shrink to be 0 pixels wide by 0 pixels high. This means the container will disappear from the UI because it's essentially 0 by 0. The expand named constructor does the exact opposite of the shrink constructor. As you can see there, it makes the container expand to take up the full width and height of the scaffold body. The expanding here meaning the SizedBox will expand to be as large as the parent widget, in this case the scaffold body, allows. Last but not least, the from size constructor allows you to specify the width and the height as a size object. You'll notice here the size constructor takes a width and a height. For example, we could specify the width to be 200 and the height to be 100, and you'll notice that this is much the same as setting the width and height on the SizedBox. I hope you found this useful, and essentially a little bit of an overview of how you can use the SizedBox to size a child widget based on a custom width and height, or using the SizedBox to either expand or shrink the width and height of the parent widget. As I say, I hope you found this useful. Thank you very much for watching.